Good morning to you. Welcome to your bite-sized word for the week. Got a little bit of sun shining on me over here, but it's okay. I'm starting out with Deuteronomy chapter 11. I'll just pick up from verse 7. It says, Your eyes have seen every great act of the Lord which he did. Therefore you shall keep every commandment which I command you today, that you may be strong and go in and possess the land which you cross over to possess, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord swore to give your fathers, to them and their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you go to possess is not like the land of Egypt, from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you cross over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of heaven, a land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the very end of the year. The reason I read all of that to you is that I believe we are moving towards this new season everyone's been talking about for at least 5 years or more. But we're moving towards something, and there's a sense of, I feel a sense of calling or urgency from the Lord that we must not remember the former things. In Isaiah 43, when the prophet Isaiah prophesied to the people, Isaiah 43, I think it's verse 18, where he says, forget the former things. Behold, I do a new thing. Shall you not know it? And then if you read through, there's a great prophecy about rivers in the desert, away in the wilderness, waters in the wilderness, and all of those things. And so I believe God is calling us higher. He's calling us to move forward. And there's the sense, the urgency. Stop looking back. If we continue to look back and long for the things that once were, that we were so familiar with it, that we could maintain where we were, and we'll keep looking back at that and saying, oh, I wish I could go back. It's like the Israelites said a few times, if only we could go back to Israel. Because even though it wasn't the place they were meant to be in, they knew what to expect. They knew how to handle it. As uncomfortable as an old season becomes, we know how to maintain it. And so when we look at Deuteronomy 11 here, it's a new vision, a new way of seeing things, a new perspective that God needs us to have. And when we keep looking back, we don't get that full perspective, and we begin to draw back again and just maintain what we have. We pray the way we always have. We do this much, and we expect this much. And so there's a sense of God calling us higher to see what he sees. And even though we don't see all the details, he's asking us to trust him. When we read about this land, it's not like the land of Egypt from where you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. You sowed a bit here, you prayed a bit here, you did a bit here. Your expectations reach a certain level, and then you could water it. As you go, take that little watering can and walk around and water your the things you've planted. Now it's time to expect a greater harvest, and it's not going to be good enough just to have a watering can. When we've planted a harvest and we trust in God, and I'm talking about the things you prayed about, the promises God has given you, the things you're declaring and you're expecting over your life. It's not enough just to have a little watering can and sprinkle a little bit of faith on it every day. Sprinkle a little bit of, I'll confess this, I'll do this. Now it's total trust in God, because it's greater than you can handle on your own. Anything God promises you is something that only he can take care of, and he needs you to trust him to take care of the promise that he's spoken over your life. And so it says here, the land which you cross over to possess, it's a land of hills and valleys. It's far-reaching, and its increase, and it drinks water from the rain of heaven. Only the rain of heaven will sustain the supernatural harvest that God has for you. If you can maintain what you have now, I want to say he's asking you to trust him for more. Because if you can maintain what you have now, you will work hard at maintaining it. And he's saying, trust me. I'm the one who looks after the harvest. I'm the one who sends the rain from heaven. All he needs is your yes. All he needs is your agreement. And then he waters the seed that's in the ground. And as you pray and as you trust him and your expectation level, you accept the invitation to say, yes, I expect more. And it's not so much more things and doing more. It's more of him. That's what this new season is about. It's all about more of him. And so he's calling us forward and he's calling us higher because he wants us to know him. That's what this new season is all about. So if we long for what once was, you know, it's easy to think back, oh, I remember when we did this 20 years ago and what it felt like and how great it was. But what are the promises God has given you for the season you're about to enter into? Maybe you're there already and you haven't recognized it. He's asking you to trust him. And so I want to just give you something here. You have to allow yourself to dream the promises that you have. You have to see yourself outside of the control that you have and trusting God to do the more that he has promised you. Also, one of the ways that we trust him is called thanksgiving. You've heard this before. It sounds so simple, but it's so powerful. If you keep looking back at once was and longing for that, you won't be thankful for what he's promised you. So that's important. That's why we stop looking back at how things were before and we thank him for what he's promised us. And as we thank him, he begins to multiply. When Jesus remember he had the crowd of 5,000 and he had the fish and the bread, and it says when he broke the bread, he gave thanks. He didn't look at the bread and the fish and do what the disciples did and say, there are too many here. This little bit isn't going to feed them. Jesus knew what he was doing when he looked up and he gave thanks for what he had, and then he broke it and he gave it to the disciples to multiply. So what I want to say to you, if you feel that you sense the calling to come higher, to move forward, and you know there's trust involved here. We talk such a lot about faith, and you know, I've heard people preach these messages on having faith and declaring the word, and yes, we do the same thing. But this is a time to trust. You know, when you don't know how this is going to work, but you trust the one who gave you the promise. So it's trust in this season. And so if we can see what we have now and how far God has brought us, and we bring it to him and we say, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for how far you brought us. I thank you for the promises I have. And they might just be promises now, but as you begin to thank him for the promises, he begins to multiply. So be encouraged with that today. Have some thanksgiving in your heart for what you have now. Stop looking back and longing for things to be the way they were before, because the best is still to come. Where you're moving to now is better. And as he calls you up higher, it's intimacy with him. As he calls you into that place, he's going to give you little glimpses of things that he's promised you, and you'll see. You learn to trust him more because you know that only he can give you the harvest that he's promised you. So have a fantastic day today, and I'll see you soon again.